Hey gang, another Steven Universe recap vlog. Today's episode is Keystone Motel, but first I need to talk about Cry for Help because this does relate to it. First off, you guys mentioned that I'm accidentally pronounced Sugalite as Slugalite. I'm really sorry about that. I'm really bad with English. And then I didn't talk enough about Garnet's side of the situation. I focused mostly on Pearl and Amethyst because that's what the episode wanted to. And luckily this episode is all about Garnet's side of the situation. For those that didn't see the previous episode, which I don't know why you're watching this video if you haven't seen both episodes, but Pearl tricks Garnet into fusing into Sardonyx. Pearl really needed the pick-me-up and really liked being strong and confident, and Sardonyx is clearly everything Pearl wishes she was.
The proper words used to describe yours truly are intelligent, accurate, faultless, elegant.
She kind of used Garnet to become this thing, and Garnet was not happy about it, with fusion being a very personable thing. So let's talk about today's episode, Keystone Motel. Let's get the recap going with Greg. Greg is super excited about getting some brushes for his car wash off Craigslist, but it's only a state away, so he has to go on a road trip and he invites Steven and Garnet to come along. Everything's fine up until they get to the motel, where Garnet finally defuses from having an argument within herself with Ruby and Saphire. Ruby's super upset about this and wants to actually focus on being angry because they're allowed to be angry. They don't always have to be the bigger gem in the situation.
It's fusion, Steven! It's like Sapphire doesn't even care! And we're supposed to be the bigger gem about this.
They caused some trouble within the motel and the best diner ever, which Greg was super stoked about, and they kind of ruined breakfast.
She'll eventually just burn herself out.
That's what you think! I am an eternal flame, baby!
Steven gets upset and storms out, and the two realize that they need to actually stop thinking about themselves and start realizing what they're affecting around them and each other. And they just kind of got lost in their own emotions. They're able to fuse back into Garnet, and everything's back to normal. They got some free ice. That's important. The free ice is important. The episode is a really good episode. It's a great Garnet episode, and it definitely, one of the things is Garnet's a fusion, and that's probably the biggest character trait she has. She's really reserved, and I talked about it in the previous episode, she tends to be extreme. Some people thought I meant she sees things in black and white as in the color, but I meant as right and wrong, black and white. Garnet sees things through extremes because she is two extremes. We now see Ruby and Saphire are very different in types of ideologies and personality. You have Ruby, who's a super passionate person, very angry, very excited, very rash, very in the moment.
She tricked us! Don't you feel used?
You're choosing to take it personally.
It's fusion, Sapphire! What's more personal to us than fusion?
And then you have Saphire, who's this reserved, calm, and always pre-planning, thinking ahead, has future vision. She sees the future and she doesn't live in the now. And this causes some trauma.
Can't you see I'm completely engulfed with rage?
Well, it doesn't feel like it.
And it's very interesting to see that maybe the fact that Garnet's always so reserved in the actual episodes, it seems one-dimensional, is because there's a lot of thought going on inside of her because these two are always talking. You gotta remember that we see Garnet, she is a person, she's also these two things, but these two things have completely different ideologies, and I think that's really, really cool. Clearly, Garnet was very upset by the fact that Pearl was using fusion as a tool to feel better, which is something that parallels something that Jasper said during Stronger Than You.
Fusion is just a cheap tactic to make weak gems stronger.
No, we just needed a reason to fuse. I just wanted to share a few more victories with you.
Those weren't victories.
Wait, Garnet! You know, we're so much weaker than you. Fusing with you is like our one chance to feel stronger.
Don't defend her.
I feel really bad for Garnet because she does feel used. She did... While Garnet is justified to be angry, she does have to be a leader and she has certain responsibilities. So it's really nice that it only took an episode for her to bounce back. Hopefully by the next episode, they're back on speaking terms fully and they can move on as the Crystal Gems. There's a lot of cool stuff in this episode, particularly a lot of people thought this was going to be a really fan-servicey episode with Ruby and Saphire being in it. I don't think that's necessarily the case. The fact that there's actually evolved around the plot and it's not just, hey, Ruby and Saphire. This was a necessary thing. And I think what's really cool about these two episodes being together is that while Pearl did fuck up, it at least brought a lot of people together. Ruby and Saphire feel like they're a stronger relationship. We got to see Steven and his dad bond a little bit more. And then even Amethyst and Pearl, which I kind of wish we got to see their side of the story in this episode because they seem to get closer in the background, even though they barely had speaking roles. But it seems that these obstacles that these characters had to face actually built them closer, and that's really cool. And I'd like to see what the next future has in store for us, but I don't have future vision. That's a dumb joke. And anyways, we have Onion Friend later tonight, so I'll see you guys tomorrow with another Steven vlog regarding Onion.